What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Common Sense, the podcast. Excuse me. I'm really excited for this show we got because I've been trying to talk this guy into coming on here for well over a year, and he hates doing stuff like this. So we finally were able to do it. This is one of my closest friends, a coach, training partner, mentor, especially in the gym, and longtime friend of mine. Y'all welcome Naz Thomas to the show.
Hey, everybody.
What's up, my man?
I'm good, man. How you doing? You good?
I'm good. I'm good. I didn't have to work out with you this morning, so I was able to, just get it in.
Hey, well, you got a week off. I'll see you next week.
Yeah, that's true. We got like 2 next week too, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Yeah. All right, so for those who do not know who Bally's Beast, a.k.a. Naz, is, tell everybody a little bit about where you're from, what's your background, how you got into the whole coaching deal.
That's a whole wormhole, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, basically, I grew up in Louisiana. Of course, I was born in Texas, so I'm assuming that's why my roots go back to Texas. I never actually experienced living in Texas that I can remember. But grew up in Louisiana, a little small town called Oberlin. Just 1,800 people. Grew up on pretty much the outskirts of the town. Later on, moved into the town and to attend school, and that was it. Just fun times growing up there. From there, I stayed in Louisiana, actually, and went to college at Grambling State University, which is where the twist actually starts, because I went to Grambling State University and majored in engineering. But
yeah, like electrical engineering or something like that. Like, this doesn't even make sense, but totally sounds like you.
Yeah.
I see where it ties in with the cars and everything.
Well, yeah, kind of. I mean, growing up, I always loved taking stuff apart and putting it back together. And, that was just me. And I'm assuming that's what drove me to engineering. But I quickly found out that was not my path. So, student loans and a lot of other money down the drain. But I still use it every now and then to my own personal stuff. But basically, 2001, I moved to Dallas, Texas. I started working out at Ballet Total Fitness, which is where I actually started my training career at. All right. So, again, when I went to Ballet Total Fitness, it was so funny because what I did is I just worked out. And just like today's, people gravitate to me for some reason. So when I started working out, like I had a group of like 4 or 5 guys, meet me there at 5:30, 5 o'clock, always on a religious schedule. And we would work out. And then, of course, members usually come up to me. People I didn't even know would just come up to me and ask me for help. And so, of course, I'm nice. I'm going to help them out. This happened for probably a good 6, maybe 8 months until I was approached by the gym manager, the general manager, and he was like, hand me like a pink slip for me not to train, which is pretty much what we do at Lifetime or used to do. And it was so funny because all my friends was like, he's not training us, we're just working out with us. He said, well, this is the last warning. And of course, we continued to work out because we didn't care about the slip. Till finally he gave up. He was like, he's not going to stop training these guys. So he walked up to me and gave me an application. That's literally how I became a personal trainer. And so I applied. Of course, BS in engineering, nothing in the body other than my knowledge and what I experienced. Once I started working for ballets, then I started working on my education as far as what I did not know how the body operates, and the rest of it's end of the story. I started out at Ballet Total Fitness in 2001. I worked for them until 2008 when they went bankrupt, and I was one of the top trainers there. Both sales, pretty much everything under the gun you can go through. But in 2008, when they went bankrupt, I left. And I decided to work for a company called Snap Fitness. I think Snap Fitness. I was only there 2 years until one of my friends at Lifetime, who kept pestering me to come on over, asked me to come and join the Lifetime crew, and that's how I got the Lifetime Plano. But that's me on the personal training side. But if you looking at just Naz in general and how I got the name Ballet's Beast, that's how. So I worked at Ballets, and on one of the national calls, that's what they used to call me, and so that's I stuck to that name.
That's awesome, man. And I know this is absolute truth, because whether this was early on when I was training with you for the very first time, to when we became training partners and you and I worked out together for several years, and then a little bit of a layoff, COVID and all that stuff, and then back at it again. And I'm not kidding y'all. No matter if it was 5 a.m. or 7 a.m. when I trained or worked out with him, I can guarantee you we did not get through not one part of the workout without somebody coming up, asking a question, wanting to get advice on something. I mean, it's insane.
Yeah. And I mean, and I welcome it. I'm never going to turn anybody away. I'm never going to turn anybody away. They can kind of somewhat sense the body language a little bit, like you can see me working out. And so, but, you know, what I do and what I love to do is, you know, kind of just helping guide people. So I'm going to help anybody out doing a workout or whatnot. It's so funny though you say that, because since I've been at Lifetime, it happens during sessions too. I mean, just like you know, with me training individuals. So Lifetime, you know, people are really serious about their hours. So sometimes when people come up to me, I may be willing to help, but my client's not. Right? So I got to respect my client's time. So I try not to be too rude. I give a quick answer, but then I'll go back and try to reiterate what I said to them so they understand when I do have some free time. So, yeah.
So, big family, small family you come from?
I would say a small family compared to your, I guess, normal Texas side family. I grew up a family of 5. My dad, my mom. I have a brother that's younger than me, and I have a sister that's older than me. Age range, my sister's about 5 years older than me, and then my brother's about, say, a year, 6 months, somewhere around there, younger than me. But, I mean, we all hang together like we're in the same age range, so, yeah.
So, growing up, how did sports play a role in your life?
It actually, I mean, everybody wants to be a superstar, right? So, you know, I didn't really jump into sports until I got literally to the town, which when we moved closer to town, played basketball. That was really my go-to sport. And then basically carried that on, you know, in college, intramural sports, things like that. But it was always I never really thought at my height, of course, making it into the NBA or even playing a straight college, but it just happened, you know, that, you know, I had a gift that I guess you can consider a gift. When I used to play, I actually had, it doesn't look like it now, I'm 260 odd pounds, but I used to have hops. Used to.
No, I think you still got them, because I remember the last time you made me do the damn layup drills at the end of my workout just to put a little extra torture on me. Like, not only had I not played basketball in probably 20 years, you'd already just killed me, making me do like a gazillion fucking lunges.
Yeah, it was fun. You know, I picked up, you know, basketball. That was one of my main go-to sports. When I came to Dallas, though, I actually connected with a buddy of mine. I played probably like 2 years in a semi-pro flag football league, which is actually still a good league right now. It's a mixed breed football. They're actually still running right now, and so played there. But it was kind of like the beginning of their inauguration. So it was flag football, but I didn't really play flag football. Once the ball was hyped, I just ran through whoever was in the front.
You mean to tell me that all this time of this bitching about your jacked up shoulder from a football injury was from playing flag football?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I wish I had this ammo like years ago.
Yeah, man. It was so funny. It was like I knew when the injury actually happened, but I didn't think anything about it. But when I got hit in my left shoulder, it got jammed up into my side. You know, I'm just thinking, oh, hey, let's just snatch it back out and keep going. So basically pulled it back out, kept playing, didn't think about it. I had like a stinker for like 2 weeks where my arm was kind of slow at responding. But after that, you know, I'm like, okay, back to normal life. And back to normal life. I went back working out, went back playing sports, didn't think anything about it until now. You get older, yeah, injuries catch up with you. Yeah,
for sure. So you also did competitive bodybuilding.
I did.
Where did that come in, and what made you decide to go down that road?
So that is a very funny story, because I had really no itching, no itching to actually bodybuild. Basically, my main focus for getting into weightlifting, getting into strength training, was I wanted to be the strongest person in the gym. I can care less about size. I mean, that's literally why I got into into lifting. What ended up happening, I graduated from college. I came to Dallas to work. I stayed with my sister for quite some time until, you know, I moved to the northern side of Dallas. But while I was there, she lived in Arlington, and I found the gym Metroflex, where Ronnie Coleman actually worked out.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, hey, this is cool. I'm going to work out here. Well, it was so funny because, you know, I worked at Ballets, but I would go to Metroflex when I wasn't at Ballets, right? And so it was funny. Of course, it's your normal bodybuilding gym, so you see a little bit of any and everything. But got in there, old dusty, raggedy, iron weights, outdated equipment. But when you got in there, you was like, all right, I'm ready. So I started working out. And of course, my mantra is, hey, lift as much as you can, or lift as much as I could. And so I was doing that for a little while. And then, I mean, probably no more than, I would say probably 4 or 5 months, I got approached by the gym owner. And the gym owner name was Brian Dobson. And so he asked me, had you ever think about bodybuilding? And I'm like, no, I hadn't, right? And so he's like, you should try it. And it was so funny because this was when the Ronnie Coleman Classic bodybuilding contest was not that popular. I mean, I'm talking about this is like 2007, 2005, 2007.
Okay.
And so he approached me. He's like, hey, you should try bodybuilding. I'm like, well, I don't know anything about bodybuilding. He was like, well, you got size, you got good definition, and you're very, you know, you're symmetrical. So I'm like, all right, whatever. And he was like, you should compete. So I'm like, all right, let's go ahead and do this. And so I'm like, how does this work? And he said, well, I'm gonna help you with your nutrition, and you just do this, and we'll take care of it. So he writes me a little plan. Actually, I may even still have it. It's like on a little notebook plan. But he writes me this plan, and he was like, okay, I want you to do this, this, and this for the next few weeks, and then I'm going to send you a link for the contest. So he sends me a link for the contest, and it's like in 14 days. And I'm like, I'm not the stupidest person in the world, but I think it takes more time to prep for a show than that. And so he's like, oh, you'll be all right. Well, at the time when he approached me, I was 200, I remember the exact numbers, I was 252 pounds. And then I've looked at his plan. I'm like, that looks stupid, but okay, let's go ahead and follow this. So I started doing cardio. My plan, again, I was completely uneducated at bodybuilding at this time, so I just took it and ran with it. And so I jumped on an elliptical at Ballet Total Fitness. At the end of every shift, I burned 1,000 calories on the elliptical. I didn't get off of it until it had 1,000 calories on it. And I did that for 14 days straight. Now, probably not the most healthiest way to do that because I dropped from 252 down to 234 in those 14 days. That's where I competed at. So when I went to the Ronnie Coleman Classic in 2007, I weighed 234, and I competed in, at that time, super heavyweights. And so, of course, no practice in posing, no routine, no nothing. And I get on stage, and oddly enough, I mean, in comparison to now, it was actually a pretty good group of guys up there. I think it was 14 guys there. I finished 7th.
Nice.
And so I'm like, okay, this is something I might want to try. I mean, not at that standard, but okay, I can probably try this. So basically, after I finished that contest, I took a couple of years off, kind of scratched my head a little bit, and then I came back in 2012 with a vengeance. So we went back in 2012. I competed at the Europa, which is one of the biggest shows that they have for bodybuilding. And I don't know what I was thinking then, but
I think that's right around the first time I actually met you.
Yeah, that's right when it was 2012. I competed in the Europa, and it was like an August 19th show, and so I think I came in like maybe 6th or 9th in that show, which to me was phenomenal because my stupid self went to compete at the Europa, which is where pretty much all the competition is. So I didn't do my research, but I was like, okay, I'm gonna take this show as a stepping stone, and I'll say, okay, in September 7th, all right, September 7th is actually my brother's birthday. I remember it. I say September 7th is the Heart of Texas. All right, Heart of Texas 2012, ran by Chris Harrison. And I was like, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to put everything I could possibly think of as far as getting in the best shape possible that this show. And as I got closer and closer to the show, I was meeting with guys because I was going through a practice posing. I basically did posing practice with a coach called Sheila Brown. She actually did some of Ronnie Coleman stuff. But I worked with her, and she got the jitters out. But if you look at the video, it still didn't look that great. My posing was still off. But anyway, 2012, I competed in the Heart of Texas.
It's because you didn't have the gummy worm to help you out.
I need the gummy worm. Yeah. It looked like a Jake the Snake. But no, I went in, and I said that when I step out, this is the attitude I went with. When I went to this contest, I'm like, I'm gonna bring my best package ever. I'm gonna bring my best package ever, and I'm gonna do it to the extreme. I'm gonna do it to the extreme. So I went in. Again, I started probably around in the 250s. By the time I competed at the Europa that August, I was 234. Same weight I competed in 2007. Don't remember the body fat percentage, but I do remember I could be leaner. I could be leaner going to the next show. So that was my focus. From August 19th to September 7th, I went 1,000% in on my nutrition. I went 1,000% in on my cardio, which I hated. And just kept my weightlifting up.
Yo, he won't even walk with you when you're like warming up. This dude, like, that's how much he loves cardio.
Yeah, you can warm up by yourself. But I went in on stage at 2012 at 202 pounds. And yeah, 202 pounds. And they had this scale that we use at Lifetime. It's the old version. It was an in-body scale. You've seen it, where it does the hydrostatic weigh-in. Well, this oldest scale that we use, it was the same version. I mean, same type of scale we have, but an older version. I remember it was like four or five people around the scale because everybody was actually worried about me in the condition I was. Because when you looked at me, I looked like a skeleton. I looked like a walking skeleton with dry skin and muscles. That's it. That's what I looked like a couple of days before the contest. And I wasn't really dying. I wasn't really hurting or whatnot. But, it just looked like I was emaciated. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm coming in with my best package, whatever. I weighed in on the in-body, and the in-body measured me a body fat percentage of 1.87. Yeah. I'm like,
Yeah, because I can't even imagine you weighing 202 pounds.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like 218 right now.
I haven't weighed 202 pounds since I popped out my mother's womb. Yeah. But yeah, it was a phenomenal effort. You know, by the time I got to the contest and checked in, of course, even 1.87 was still not enough for me. So I did cardio that night after the check-in, really light. And again, I was like, I'm going to bring this 100%. So I went on stage, and I think I competed in like 5 divisions, and I got first in pretty much every last one of them. I think I got second in one of them against another guy who I lost contact with. But yeah, it was a phenomenal year that year. Yeah.
That's badass, man. Like that takes a lot to compete at that level.
Well, it cost a lot too, because the
you're
aftermath wasn't that great either.
Yeah, but eating too, like the amount you have to fuel yourself for something like that. Wow. So what do you think was maybe one of the toughest obstacles early on in your career, and how did that maybe shape your approach to how you train people?
Career as in personal training, right?
Yeah, personal training.
All right, so one of my biggest obstacles, I would say sales.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not a sales guy, right? I'm not, you know. So, and you kind of know this, you know. I will help someone for free before I actually give them a contract.
Yeah.
And so that was probably some of my downfall, but I believe when you pay those dividends, it'll come back to you. And I would say also one thing that some of my mentors told me is that, hey, you'll do good. You know, this is not a great thing to say, but you'll do good because of your look, right?
Yeah.
Say, you know, people are going to want some people, right? So some guys may want your body, but some females may be scared of you. Right, so it's a hit and miss, but you're in shape. You're physically appealing to a certain standpoint, so it's going to be easier for you to maybe connect people.
Yeah, you're
right?
approachable.
Yeah, I wouldn't say approachable, but yeah, you're approachable from a appearance standpoint, I guess you can say. But I have had in the past where most people won't approach me, not just because of my size or what I look like physically, is because I was squinting so much because I'm blind. I can't see. And so I squint, so therefore I look mad. So that dude's angry. You know, they say, I'm never going to.
Man, I find this so weird because you are like one of the happiest, go-lucky people I know. Like, and you are always smiling. Like, even when you're in a bad mood.
I mean,
So you're saying, man, is that something you adapted to more later on, just being...
No,
or like maybe you were a little more closed off early on?
No, I think I've always been kind of like that happy person, I guess you can say, to a certain extent. Always been a jokester, I kind of would say that, you know.
Yes,
I used to love playing around in class. You know, it was so funny. As a kid growing up in grade school, of course, you're in high school, we used to, I guess you could consider me one of the class clowns growing up. So I've always been on the funny side. Always just been a happy person. I mean, to me, it doesn't really pay to just be mad. If you're angry or mad, do something to change it. And if I do get pissed, I'm not going to stay mad for very long. I can't. It itches me. I'm like, I find something else or someone else to attack. So, yeah.
Makes sense. But I don't think you give yourself enough credit there because, like I was going to say, like, you're definitely approachable. Like, I don't see that because people come up to you all the fucking time. Like,
well, I think now that I've been at Lifetime almost 15.
Yeah, but there's
years.
Always new people and stuff.
Yeah, kind of sorry, but you know,
granted, you pass most of those off to Truly now, but you know,
maybe. But you know, the good thing about Lifetime, a lot of people talk.
Yeah.
Right. So, whereby if I'm one of the good trainers there, other people may say, hey, look, go talk to that dude there. Don't worry about what he looks like. He's actually pretty nice. And so that could be the preface where people actually come and approach me at. But I love it, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think it comes down to a lot of things. I think that's why they're good that they have a lot of different types of trainers there, because if you're a CrossFit type guy, there's definitely those trainers there. Like you can see them a mile away, or if you can't see them, you can hear them and know what section they're in.
Yeah, you can.
You know, and then if you're looking to do something more physique, whether you're a guy or girl, you know, like there's like you and Cass, and then you know several others. But like, I mean, this reminds me too, and I know what you just mentioned. I literally said this to him the other day, and I'm not gonna like point anybody out specifically, but I'm like, dude, what is up with this dude, this trainer? And you're like, actually, he's a badass. He just doesn't know how to talk to people. You know, and like, I was like, okay, that makes sense. And then like, you told me his resume and shit, and like, guy's got an amazing story and very good at what he does. Just to me, he's way less approachable than you. But maybe again, it's like you say, like people are going in, and you saw times you're trying to pick out somebody that's like in the realm you want to be in. So that makes sense.
I will say that, you know, I've had clients come up to me and like, I still train them to this day, whereby they just trainer watch. They just trainer watch, and they actually look at trainers. They watch them. I mean, you're on stage 24/7, so they watch and they see if you're engaged. They see if you're, you know, communicating. They watch if you're, you know, like built into your client. They watch your actual exercises too. So, you know, and I do have a fault sometimes because I know people are watching, but I also know some people in the gym are watching too. And so, I will do whatever program is suited for my client, but every now and then, and I'll talk to one of my clients, or I'm like, hey, watch this, because I've been at Lifetime 15 years, like I said, and since I've been there, I've seen multiple people literally follow me and my client around and do the same exercises that we do. So what I do, I look at my client, I'm like, hey, we're gonna do this exercise that has nothing to do with what we're trying to do. I'll do something stupid. And just to see if they actually will follow and even attempt to try to do what we did. And they try, and we laugh. But yeah, people do watch, and with not just our trainers here at Lifetime, but even at other facilities, you know, what I've learned, not to judge a book by a cover, because a lot of people are phenomenal without even knowing it. It's amazing.
Seeing you talking about that just reminds me of like when I first came to the gym and was super out of shape, and you smoked the shit out of me and then told me I had to do something like 15 pull-ups before we could quit, no matter how long it took. And I don't think I had done more than like 5 pull-ups at that point, period. And when I tell you, this is one of the most embarrassing moments of my life. It's definitely like top 5. This grown-ass man picks another grown-ass man up and is literally holding me by the waist, lifting me up. He's like, I told you you're going to finish. And this isn't the 5 a.m. club. Like, all the hardcore people are all in here and pretty much all watching. Like, this is in the back mirrored area right by all the big boy weights. And man, I'm telling you, I wanted to kill him that day.
You enjoyed it, didn't you?
Yeah, that's definitely the word I would use. So how did that change, or did it change your perspective, doing the pro bodybuilding and the training you were doing before for yourself versus what you were doing with clients? Because, I mean, that kind of training, and when you're training somebody that's doing that, is obviously much different than your everyday gym goer. How did you find a balance in that, or do you just keep it completely separate? What do you mix up there?
I keep it completely separate. Every client has their own goals, so that client has their specific things that they actually do. Now, it depends. I mean, you can get anybody and everybody that, you think about weight loss, you think about longevity, vitality, think of competition, things like that. So everybody has their own niche. So what I try to do is keep all that separate and keep those workouts specific for those people. Now, as far as me, unfortunately, when I was in bodybuilding, I was really focused on on myself when I wasn't with my clients, right? So when I had a set workout time, it was either 5 a.m. or 5:30 p.m. You couldn't break me from that. And then somewhere around the line, 2014, I remember the year, I started to actually put more focus on my clients and not myself. So believe it or not, 2014, September was my last contest I competed in. I think I competed in the two strength games or something like that. I actually hired a coach. I used a coach for that contest. Reason why I wanted to take out some of the thinking, right, about myself, because I wouldn't want to focus on my
have
clients.
The plan and someone there to have you
exactly.
execute.
Yeah, just follow this, not the Brian Dobson way, but I used a coach out of Destination Dallas, Armand Ardibi, a really good guy. He actually did my plan for me, and I just did the work. And so then I can focus on my clients. But in 2014, my last contest, I kind of lost contact with one of my workout partners. And it doesn't sound like it's that important, but I had a workout partner for a long time. His name was Bruce Carmona. And me and him used to go to war. Matter of fact, it was so funny because we actually have a YouTube video of our contest for that August.
I think I met him at your...
You did, yeah.
Before Jackson was born.
Yes, and so that was my workout partner, and he actually kept me accountable, but he also was stronger at me in things than me. And so that used to push me. Like, believe it or not, I hated doing back. This dude loved doing back. I hated doing legs. This dude loved doing legs. I was all, hey, chest, biceps, and shoulders. Let's go. We let the legs fall in.
And I promise y'all, all the things he says he doesn't like, he definitely makes you do.
Yeah, you're going to do it, not me. But in 2014, I kind of lost contact. We actually kind of basically separated because he was at Lifetime, and then he ended up going to another facility. And I lost my workout partner. It's almost like I lost my, he was a best friend. So, but I didn't get a chance to work out with him anymore. And I tried working out with other people, but it ended up being a training session more than a workout session for myself. So I kind of pulled away from that, just taking on anybody.
Yeah.
And so I had to really be like connected with you. That's why you got the privilege to work out with me. But from 2014, I actually took a layoff from weight training, period. Just so happened, I'm assuming my body was in good enough shape to just maintain weight, but I could feel myself deteriorating. And so weightlifting wasn't fun for me anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just wasn't fun for me anymore. And competing wasn't fun for me anymore. And that was a sad turn for me, because that was something I was really strong and I really wanted to continue to do, but I didn't have the oomph in it no more. Me and you connected. I tried to actually reignite it. Wasn't your fault. It's just that I just wasn't. I couldn't dig that old balanced beast mentality out of me anymore. So it was just like, okay, I'll just get a workout.
Married, kid, can't find a reason why there.
Yeah, I mean, this
all that home cooking.
Yeah, enjoying not the chicken tenderloins and spinach all the time, but
y'all, this fool used to come in. He's changed his ways these days, but this fool would come in with like a gallon of milk and literally chug like half a gallon of milk before we even started working out. And then he would keep drinking it while we worked out. It's the craziest shit I've ever seen. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I was a milk and cheese freak, man. Those are my two favorite foods.
They're not lactose at all.
That I know of. I was able.
No, this dude. This dude be putting his whey protein. He ain't even putting whey protein, just straight milk, man.
Yeah, straight milk. Yeah. Those were the good old days. They don't do that anymore. But yeah, so that was a little change. But now I'm actually getting back into really caring for myself to a certain standpoint where I do get workouts in either by myself, which is very seldom. What I've leaned more on is getting workouts with clients, or if I have a downtime that's not with a client, I'll try to get something in. Yeah, and so I'm waking back up. All right, it's just a little bit harder for me now. So
yeah, there's been a few changes.
Yeah, just a few.
I mean, a few,
Yeah.
but hey,
Just a
man,
few.
I'm super proud of you the way you've just kept going and doing the things you're doing, man.
Thank you. I try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're right, man. Having a solid workout partner, especially when you've been out of it, or you're trying to get back into, getting healthier.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you do in the most simplest thing, like not trying to bodybuild or whatever, but maybe you're just trying to improve your quality of life.
Yes.
Having an accountability partner or having a training partner, whether you're paying for it or just even having someone to go with that is going to hold you accountable, like that is so huge.
It is.
And that's honestly, for me, when I couldn't come back during COVID and stuff like that for a while, like knowing that, like, with what all was going on with you and stuff, like this wasn't happening, like that was to me, like, man, I could not get the motivation for a while.
Yeah.
It took me having to buy 38-inch pants, and then I was like, all right, fuck this. This is game over. We're turning this shit back around. Whether
go.
he's working out with me or not, this is changing.
Yeah, COVID was a trip. Yeah.
Yeah, man, this is wild. What's maybe the most important lesson you've learned from somebody that you've been around or that you've worked with, as far as like, whether it was an elite athlete or a regular client, that is just some lesson that really stands out in your mind that was like a turning point maybe for you?
Man, that's a tough question. It's a very tough question, and it could seem simple, but yeah. I mean, everyone I've encountered over the past, since I've been alive, whether it be a family member, a friend, a client, or whatnot, any type of motivation or any type of saying or influence that they gave me, I put it in a melting pot. And it's so funny. I had this, I was told this saying that I can't remember, and I can't remember who actually told it to me, but this was a long time ago. I was a kid, and I used to go to my family. We used to go to Reeves, Louisiana. Reeves, Louisiana. That's where my aunt and my late grandmother used to be there. And it was so funny because when we used to get there, my grandmother used to give us chores to do. And I was always the one, like, if she gave me a row to plant of like peas or anything else, I'm always like, perfect, my line is straight, my seeds and everything are completely even. I try to be as perfect as I can. And so the reason why I say that, because I believe it was her that actually said it. It could have been someone else. It's been so long ago, but the saying is, or the saying that sticks in my head, it is be great at something, but be good at everything. And so that's always been with me, because it kind of molded me as I grew up. Like I did certain things as a kid I wasn't great at. Right? I didn't find my niche until now. Right? Be great at personal training, but be good or great at changing lives. I'll put it like that. I won't say personal training. Be great at changing lives, and then just be good at other things. Like, take for instance, I like engine building. I like restoring cars. I used to kind of daddle in artistry. I used to draw. I used to do handwriting, as you know. My handwriting is kind of a little crazy, but I used to do it. I was I tried to be in everything, and it could have came from that saying, but also I wanted to always be kind of independent and do things on my own, my way. And so if I didn't know how to do it, I either faked it and learned it, or learned it and then try to master it. So that's kind of how it was.
I mean, I think that's a great saying and a great way to look at that aspect.
Yeah.
How do you try to instill that in Jackson now, as a father,
dude?
Because that's Bally Beast Jr. right there already.
Yeah,
and he's what, 5?
I mean, this dude here. I mean, I love him to death. I mean, best thing that ever happened to me, man. But him, I mean, he has his own way, and I can see me in him. It's bad, and it's so funny because I'll get mad, I'll get upset at some of the things he does because he shouldn't be doing them.
Yeah.
At not his age. I remember one time, me and my wife Kristen, I believe we were actually in bed. We were just chilling. It was like maybe a Saturday morning or something like that, and we smelled eggs or something like breakfast food. This little dude had woke up, I guess maybe had came to the room and asked us to cook breakfast and we didn't move, and he was scrambling his own eggs. I'm like, okay. And he's 4 now. He'll be 5 actually at the end of the month. And I believe this dude was probably 3 going on 4, but he's ridiculous. I mean, I would say if I, not, he's my son, so I'm going to boast about him.
Yeah.
But he's very far ahead. I can see a lot of me in him because he does things independently, his way, when he wants to. But he also knows how to play the game. Right? So he can know how to do something and have done it a million times. But if he don't want to do it, he's not going to do it. He'll yell, "Mommy, Daddy, come do this." And we was like, you know how to do it. Go ahead and do it yourself. But he knows how to play the cards. But I love him. So, hey,
he's
he
cool,
gonna get whatever you want from Daddy. He gonna get whatever you want. Daddy gonna get him.
Hell yeah. What's up, Kenny? How are you, man? Good to have you here. Our buddy Kenny Mitchell does Operation Yellow Tape checking in. Appreciate you jumping on, bud. With so many fitness friends out there, what do you believe is the most important principle people should focus on when training, regardless of their goals? Is there no matter what, there's this principle you do, because I know you individualize things for everybody. Like, hell, the program we're doing right now, I know for a fact we've not done the same workout ever.
Yeah, I don't like
definitely not getting bored of doing the same shit.
That's not gonna happen. So that's actually one of my main pet peeves. It's very rare that I'm going to repeat a workout. Well, also over the years, people was like, "How do you remember my maxes? How do you remember what we did? How many?" I'm like, I remember. Right, I remember. I don't know how, but my head has an idea of how strong you are, and so I know what you can do. So when I set these workouts up, either I could pre-plan them, but I will say this: 70 to 90%, I'm going on the fly. Because when I first experienced personal training, when I was doing it, I used to write out workouts, and I used to program workouts, and like, hey, we're going to do this today. And then I get in the gym, or I get in the club, and none of the stuff I wrote down on my paper is available. And so I'm like, well, this is trash. I was like, we're going to do this. So in my head, I have a specific cadence that I use for body parts and things like that per person, and then I actually make up my workouts on the fly. I've always done that right now. But as far as focusing on individuals and what they're actually doing, yes, everybody has their own goals.
I was gonna say, I think the only time we ever did repetitive stuff was when we worked out together.
Yeah.
And that was when we were doing segmented training where we were doing we weren't definitely not doing full body. We were doing individual body parts certain days of the week, or maybe 2 body parts most.
Yeah.
And I think we got in a little bit of a routine there where we did some workouts the same, same group of exercises. May have varied sets and reps, but yeah.
Well, working out with me is totally different than working out with a client because, one, I'm gonna be able to work out around myself, right? So I can care less about your goals. You're working out with me, so. But yeah, typically,
you want to be 205 or 195. Yeah, you're not going to look good like that, but if that's what you want to do, that's what you can do.
Go ahead and do it.
Yeah, whatever, man. So then he bulks me up to like 220, and he's like, yeah, there you go.
There you go. You're looking good now. Yeah, my goals now become your goals when you work out with me. But no, with each individual person, I have a set belief with everyone. Yeah, your goal may be weight loss, your goal may be whatever, but my overall objective is to make your life or make your lifestyle a whole lot easier for you. Whereby, it could be some strength training, it could be some soft tissue work, it could be mobility, flexibility, things like that. But that's my focus of every person. Just to make their life or make their lifestyle both physically and mentally, sometimes psychologically, because that happens during the personal training sessions. I just want that to be better. And then the physical aspect just comes, right? So that's pretty much how I roll.
Oh, yeah. All right, everybody already kind of knows because there's a lot of people that watch the show that really helped out and contributed to your fundraiser.
Yeah.
A lot of people came out. We enjoyed doing that last year. And I know that's changed a lot of things for you.
Yeah.
So you've been very open about your fight with cancer. And how has this battle with cancer maybe affected your perspective on life and fitness and helping others?
Well,
because I've seen, I don't know if I'd call it a change, but definitely an amplification in some areas.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Since being diagnosed with cancer and going through or managing that, my main focus is to take it up to the next level, not just for my clients, but I use you guys to help motivate myself. Because I will say this, basically live, I'm the biggest hypocrite when it comes to health on myself. I will say that. I'll watch out for you. I'll watch out for everyone else. But for Naz, I'm like, I'll deal with that later. But recently, I've kind of been leaning on you guys without you knowing. That actually helps me get through the day or helps me kind of keep myself on track. And it has been some challenges, but you'll never see them.
Yeah.
I'll never show them to you. You might every now and then see me have a hot flash and break out in sweats, but you'll never see my struggle.
Yeah.
I just, I come in and basically I'm going to work. And there's very few people I share like my physical standard with. My wife knows, of course.
Yeah.
My wife, and she's very funny because she was like, "You do it to yourself," right? And which she's right.
Yeah.
She's right. So
I'm not arguing with Kristen.
So and I hear it, and I don't listen to it sometimes, but then I know she's right, so I'll kind of buckle down and work on myself some more.
Yeah. How has that changed, you think, too, with Jackson being such a big part of your life now?
Jackson is amazing. First,
yeah,
he knows that Daddy's sick. That's the word that we use, and so he's a very helpful nurse. That dude, he cares. I would say he actually cares more than I care. Not care about my condition, but more than I care about the general health of others, and I care about people. He has that same mantra in him, and it's amazing because he'll be like, "It's so funny." So I have these medications I take, and they're morning and evening, and so my wife and him, they graciously, put all my pills in containers, and I don't do any of it. Hell, I couldn't tell you what's in every container.
Yeah.
I might have an idea, but I don't even know what's in there. They could be feeding me anything. I don't know. But I take they make the containers for me, and I take them every morning and night. Well, this little dude, if he's around and he sees my pill container, he would literally take that container and shove it in my face. Daddy, pills. He's like, I'm like, you worse than some nurse. There's some nurse around here. He's like, if it's in the morning, if I'm off on the weekend, like I took it in, he'll like, I'll be in bed, sleeping, trying to get the nice restful sleep I need. He'll come beside my bed with my pill container. Daddy, you gotta eat the sun. Because on my pill containers, they have the sun and the moon. He's like, here, eat the sun. It's in the morning. Eat this. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm going to get it. Put it by there. Daddy will eat it later. And so, he's
on top of it.
He's on top of it, buddy. He's on top of it.
I knew something was different. And I remember you telling me, like, when you first told me the news, you're literally walking, and y'all, like, Naz pre-cancer did not eat like Naz now. Like, not even close. Like, this guy would go to, like, the Brazilian steakhouses, and, like, multiple cows died. Like, if he didn't come out of there with, like, 10 different levels, if it wasn't, like, 10 different levels of meat sweats, I don't know what you call that. But this dude was off the chain whenever he ate, like, man, and he always had these huge containers of shit all the time. And all of a sudden I turn around and I'm stretching, getting ready to work out, and I see him walking through the gym. I thought there was like a potluck or something, like these 2 ginormous bowls of salad. I don't think I've ever seen Naz eat a damn salad in my life prior to this. And I'm like, yo, you decided to be the healthy guy today? You just messing with people? And you're like, nah, man, I have to eat this way now. And I'm like, yeah, bullshit. I am not believing that you were eating all that.
Yeah. It was, honestly, with, finding out with having cancer, it hit me internally. Yeah. But on the outside, you couldn't tell because it looked like I wasn't worried. But I knew that, I'm at the time 48. And so I think 48. 48, something like that. I don't know. I lose the years now. But anyway, 2023. So 48. Yeah. And so I knew then if I didn't make a change, even if I didn't like it or not, that I wasn't going to be around long if I kept doing what I normally actually do. Yeah. And so luckily with the support of my wife and also the gym, right? You and all my other clients and everybody who stepped in. So you mentioned me walking through the club through Lifetime with these 2 big bowls of salad, which those salad weighed about 11 pounds.
I believe it, dude. Like I didn't even know they had bowls with lids that were that big, man. Like, this son of a bitch was like a punch bowl. Yeah. And he had 2 of them. Yeah. And I mean filled. And I mean not just like loose, fluffy salad, like packed full of salad.
Yeah. That was something that, when I did research on what was the best way to actually fight this disease, I looked up all the vegetables and fruits that could be possible benefits to it, and I made a list. Yeah. And at first, I was doing it at home. But then I had these 3 clients, Val, Francette, and then Jamie, I don't think you know. They started making salads for me. They volunteered to make salads for me, and that actually took a ton of pressure off of me, Christian, both prep-wise, because you had to cut it all up and clean it. So, but me, when I made mine, I ain't clean. I just ate it straight out the bag. But it was, just the prep-wise. I mean, I'm very grateful for them and what they do, what they did, and actually continue to do for me. But I said to myself, I'm like, all right, I am going to make a significant change here and try to give myself the best chance of survival and beating this lovely little disease. And also my drive was my son. Really, realistically, like I literally had myself on the back burner mentally. I mean, mentally, I cared about my well-being, my health and whatnot. But Jackson is my first child, right? And so me and Kristen, that's I mean, he means the world to us. And when I got diagnosed, they said stage 4 metastatic, which means it spread through the rest of my body. I had to make a decision right then and there to do the best I could to get as many years or give the best fight that I could to this. And so the lovely little EG Steakhouse and Texas Roadhouse steaks, the 54-ounce fillets, they all had to quit. The milk, the cheese. I mean, the milk and cheese.
I can't even imagine how hard that would be. Like, people get told to quit, like, drinking for, or try to do a 75 hard days of nicotine or sugar or like that, but like all your favorite things, like meat, cheese, and milk. Those are my favorite things. That's literally what I ate, which probably has a little impact on where we're at,
on where we're at right now. Yeah. But I cold turkey. I just stopped it. Now, in the beginning, when I decided to say, hey, look, I'm going straight, basically you could consider vegetarian/vegan, because I stopped eating meat, period. Yeah. Like, no chicken, no fish, no crawfish, no salmon, no sardines, no nothing. And so I did fruits and vegetables, and it was so funny because, yes, you said you never see me eat a salad. When I first looked down at those big bowls, I'm like, I'm not going to like this. But then I came to the decision, hey, I'm not eating for taste anymore, right? I'm actually eating to live. And I would literally just take my spoon, put my head in my bowl, and then just start shoveling stuff in my mouth, and you would see the bowl start to actually diminish while I'm actually eating. I'm like, I'm just going to get it done. And so my wife would be over there, be like, chew your food. I'm like, just trying to get it done. I'm just trying to eat it. Digest it. Just get it done. And so it was so funny because I used to go through those bowls really, really fast. Now, I go through them a lot slower.
Probably a little better for you there, bud. Just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, I would think cancer, and you kind of touched on this, I think, but cancer has to change your mindset.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure that's a journey and a process in and of itself, and that's looked like many different things from early on till now.
Yeah.
How have you maintained the mental toughness and like positivity that has helped you, and to still be positive, training everybody else and just pouring into other people so much still? I mean, I would think there has to be a period that, I'm speaking for myself here, from what I would think is, and I know you have pulled back in a lot of areas too, but how do you find the motivation to do that and to still be up there training people at 5 a.m., 6 a.m., like that has to take a whole different mindset now, knowing the value that this is put on time and your family and everything else.
And so that is an interesting question, because even though, I have what I have, it doesn't change me as far as what I want to get done on every day. And sometimes I'm actually reminded that I actually have cancer, but it's so funny. This saying is kind of crazy, redundant, but I hear it a lot, and it's actually said at Lifetime in the management realm about how you come to work, and I never live about it. Well, I never purposely actually tried to follow a rule. It just happened. So one of the things that I think of on my drive to work, whether if it's, the 8 minutes it used to be or the 30 minutes it used to be now, I could be in the worst position ever, either mentally, physically. I could be hurting like hell. I could be thinking about things, but I have 3 minutes to reset that mindset once I park my truck. So every time I get a Lifetime, I park in that same spot every time. I'm not gonna move. There's a reason why I park in that spot. But I park my truck, and the first thing I do is whine about everything I got to carry from that truck in the gym. And so, but that's the worst thing. Picking up my backpack, my shirt, my water bottle, any extra bags I got to carry. And that was one of my pet peeves. I hated it. I used to always try to carry the least possible. But now I carry more, and it's good. But that path from my truck to the front door is actually usually one of the most important times of my day getting into that club. Reason why is because when I step in that club, anything that's going on with me, anything that's going on with me mentally, physically, I get hurting or not, once I walk through that door, whoever's at the front desk, good morning, let's go to work. That's how I'm always going to be. Now, if you really pay attention, you can see the bad side if you really know me. I may be hurting or I may be dripping sweat but from hot flashes that I'm having. But if you really pay attention, you'll see I'm struggling in a little way, but I'm not going to portray it. All right. You might hear me a groan coming up the stairs. I did that anyway because I never did light cardio, but. It's weird. Every time I come into the club, it's gonna be you're gonna see the same Naz every time. I'm always gonna be happy. I'm always gonna be motivating. I'm always gonna be joking, and you might hear my little favorite saying "yippee" every now and then. But that's just me. Yeah.
What role has your family played in your journey, and how have they supported you throughout your fitness career?
Well, my family, I'll start with home.
Yeah.
Of course, like we've already talked, Jackson's awesome.
And for the record, his wife, Kristen, is also in the same field. So I think that... you're the one that's got to go home to her.
She would say the same thing. I'm more on the strength side, aesthetic side.
For sure.
And she's on the endurance
side. And triathlon. So, but I'm saying you both are trainers and coaches. So, balancing that for the two of you with Jackson, that's got to be a lot.
Oh,
and making that sync up so that you guys always can pick up for each other and help out.
It was, so once Kristen got pregnant with Jackson, and he was on his lovely little way into this world, and then he got here. Yeah. You remember the times, I used to work from 4 in the morning till 9 at night, 5, 6, 7 days a week. Yeah. So I used to grind. But, for my son, but also for myself, and me and Christian sat down, we figured out a schedule that's actually going to work for us, whereby, one, I can still make the impact I need to make it work, but also be there for Jackson. And also, she does a lot, so I try. I'm not always great, but I try to make sure my days aren't as long as they were, so I can get home and either give us some relief from caring from Jackson, but also, hell, he's my son. Yeah, I want to spend time with him too. Right. And so I changed my schedule up pretty significantly. I, believe it or not, stopped working weekends, which was a big change. I've always worked weekends, but I'm actually loving not working on Saturday and Sunday.
Right, it's kind of nice, right?
It's kind of nice. And so I actually get stuff done. As a matter of fact, I get stuff done for myself. I get to spend time with Jackson, but I do get honeydew list to do too. So I got one waiting at home for me now, Easter honeydew list. Yeah.
Oh, man.
It's how fast you can get it done.
Hey, I know a guy that we both know that probably gets you a costume if you need to like dress up like the Easter Bunny.
Oh, hey, no, I'm good. No Easter Bunny here.
He might have one already in his closet that you can borrow.
Is he over there? No.
What's maybe one thing you wish more people understood about balancing family life with a career, especially with the demanding world of fitness?
Well, I mean, we always talk about work-life balance at work.
Yeah.
Right? We try to instill that in our schedule.
I hate that saying.
Yeah. I know.
Balance.
Work-life balance. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't like to say it either, but there has to be a happy norm. Right?
Yeah.
Between the two, and so the biggest challenge you said.
Yeah.
Biggest challenge, wanting to do it. Wanting to do it. Not that you have to do it, but wanting to do it. Like, if I could have still given Jackson all the time that he wanted, still giving my wife the support she needed when she needed it,
Yeah.
and still get some of the stuff I would have done, I would still be working 16-hour days, right? And I'll worry about rest and sleep later. But that doesn't always pan out. Yeah, it doesn't always work. Which is probably why I got cancer. But yeah, I mean, you got to want to make that change. In balancing work and life, you got to be able to do it. You got to be able to do it and want it yourself. So.
What do you see as maybe like the biggest trend shaping the fitness industry right now and how that's evolving for personal training and bodybuilding?
Well, I still think there's some separation between bodybuilding and what you call your health and fitness clubs, like take fitness at Lifetime. Lifetime has kind of embarked on the fitness challenges like high rocks, sporting races, things like that. Love that. Excuse me.
Not doing any of that.
Me either. They're bringing back their marathons and triathlons, so that's good. Just bodybuilding has never really crossed, and I wish it would because it would be phenomenal. But bodybuilding isn't really a healthy way of life.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's still the balance of like a club and like some people are. I mean, there's definitely some professional bodybuilders at Lifetime.
Oh yeah.
I mean, some of the most insanely in shape and
we have a lot of competitors that play
enormous human beings. Like Hammer, like holy smokes, that dude is, it's impressive to watch.
We can only wish.
Have you ever thought about doing like virtual or online training? I don't know if I could see you doing that.
Well,
that seems to be a big thing, and I know there's a certain amount of people that really love that kind of format.
Yeah.
Me, no, I can't be thought of as working out from home.
Yeah.
I'll find a million other things to do. If I know I'm paying for it and I gotta go to make it worth my money and my time, I have to go. Like, and I'd much rather train in person than just get this printout or be watching these videos. But personal training is not cheap either. So
I mean, with virtual training, it's not for everyone.
You think it's just for the younger generation, maybe more so?
Not necessarily for the younger generation. I'm talking about even from the personal training standpoint.
Yeah.
Right. So some people do it very well. Like we got some trainers at our club that actually do very well with digital coaching or virtual programming. It's not for everybody. If I had to do it,
I'm going with Truly on that. I bet he's got some crazy stuff out there.
If I had to do it, like if it was my last option, I would, but I'll miss out on spotting you on pull-ups and embarrassing you and lifting you. But I'm more of a hands-on guy, so the virtual, I mean, that's going to be a far-fetched one for me.
Yeah, I can't really see that.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Tank's on here. We actually got Tank paying attention, man.
What?
I'm impressed.
Tank took me home today.
Did he?
Yeah. Okay. So you see my truck.
Yeah.
Right. So my wife.
I thought you just got it back.
Exactly. I did just get it out of the shop, but guess what? it went right back in this morning. I mean, I love my truck, and I put a lot into it. Right, I put a lot into it.
Y'all, I'm aware.
And for some reason, this little sucker decides that it just wants to fall apart after 5 years. Now, it may have a little bit of something.
Newsflash, they're designed that way, my friend.
Yeah, 5 years. Well, I mean, of course, some of the stuff I did to it is a little bit
extreme.
So yeah, you will have some problems with it.
I mean, it's not like you didn't just pretty much alter the entire truck, but I mean, you know, minor things.
It's just minor upgrades, minor. But yeah, it's in the shop again today. Tank took me home, and Grace is a great friend. He took me home because I was going to Uber, and I'm like, I'm going to Uber home, and I'm going to Uber to the show, and then I'm going to go pick up my truck. And he was like, nah, I'm free. I'll take you home. I'm like, all right, cool. And so after I leave the show, I'll go pick my truck up out of the shop, and let's hope it stays out of the shop for at least another month. But yeah, craziness. Yeah.
When you look back at your career to date, what's maybe one key lesson you've learned that's been the most impactful in your personal training growth?
One lesson I've learned it impactful in my personal training growth. Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah, so you can let me prep. Yeah.
You don't let me prep. Just come in and we're doing this shit today.
One lesson I learned, and so I would say, this is going to sound kind of blunt, kind of wide open, but I would say being supportive. I had to learn to be supportive. I'm always going to be helpful, but helpful could be, hey, I'm gonna work out for you, and hey, go do it yourself. But just watching.
By supportive, he means we're going to grow your little chest, or hey, we're going to get those biceps where we can actually see them pop.
The little twigs.
Yeah.
We're going to work on the little twigs today. I got motivation.
Yeah. So real supportive.
Yeah, real supportive. My support is different than other people.
I wouldn't want it any other way, to be completely honest.
So, yeah, but being supportive of, like, not only their goals, but, again, their well-being. That's where it all comes back to. Really realistic for me, but knowing how to support them. I'll tell you, that would have been a big challenge. Not just being supportive, but how to actually support them. Because I can yell at you all day. Yeah. And I've never kicked a client. I may have pushed down. I may have added a little bit of resistance to someone, but I find a way to somehow that support that I'm giving hopefully becomes motivation to a certain extent. And so, over the years, that takes time to actually learn because everybody's different. Right? What I do to one person, I can't do to everybody. Yeah. And so it's become interesting. So I got me a little book of like a repertoire I pull from. And so
I'm waiting to see what you figure out for our boy Jamal.
We're going to get him. I really care for the dude. I want to help him.
I love Jamal.
Yeah.
There's not somebody I talk more shit to or with probably at the gym, period.
I love to piss him off.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to like football or any OU stuff. I love the OU SEC.
It don't take much.
Yeah. But
ask him about his golf game next time.
No. When I start talking trash to him, I'm talking trash about something I can do. So because I can't play golf. That's a no. Can't play golf, but maybe basketball or something like that. Yeah.
What do you think's maybe been the most rewarding aspect of your career?
Of my career, right? So I'm gonna take family out of it and go rewarding of my career. So again, I'm a people person. And to see people either of course, reach whatever goal they have, but to see people change their lives, whether it be a health from a health standpoint, whether it's losing weight or whatnot, but just see them change their lives from a health standpoint, or just from a work-life balance standpoint, any success I get out of anybody that I work with, that actually just lights me up, right? I may not show it all the time. I'm like, hey, good job, way to work, right? That's my goal. That's a few of my other sayings, but like when I see people succeed, that makes me happy. It does. It makes me happy. I may not 100% show it to you because I don't want you to think I'm too soft, right? But that drives me. Yep.
How do you help coach somebody that maybe is just like really struggling with discipline? Because discipline's a huge part of this whole thing. How do you try to coach somebody on that? What's your approach on that?
Discipline is hard, right? And
I think the only conversation we ever had about that was, hey man, we're working out at 5, but you don't show up, and this shit's ending.
Well, that's funny.
And then who was the one not showing up half the time? Hey man, I just woke up. My bad. I'll be there in 5.
Hey, I try every now and then. I do hit the snooze button every now and then.
We can just say you had your cast days.
And every now and then, when it comes to discipline, I mean, you can only do so much until it becomes a threat.
Yeah.
So, I try to motivate, and I look at the little small wins, because typically when you have a lack of discipline, it's because you're not seeing what you want to get out of it. Kind of, sort of, right? From a standpoint when I look at things. And so, but if I can show you one little win or one little spot of improvement, then that little snippet that I just showed you hopefully will give you the motivation, which will help ignite that discipline and get us off to a better start. Now, I will say this. I've been training since 2001. Actually, 99 if you want to go back that far. But so I've been in the game for 26 years. I've only fired, I think, 4 or 5 clients in my 26 years of training. When I say fired, I was done. I'm like, I can't
imagine what that looks like.
Yeah. You still have sessions? I just won't be at them. So find you another trainer. But I've done that. I didn't want to, but it had to happen. And so, and I don't look to fire anymore. I try to help I try to hold on to everybody. But during the first part of my career, I was a zero tolerance person when it came to actually coming to the weight room. I'm like, hey, you said you want to do this, we gonna do it.
Well, and I know it's changed for me too. Like, and I think that's kind of important to figure out with probably each person. Like when I was younger, I was the guy that couldn't put on weight. I couldn't break 120 pounds at 6 foot tall until I was in my early 20s.
Yeah.
And I actually did like 3 weeks worth of steroids to get above that. Yeah. And realized I couldn't do that and that was not for me. That took a different mindset. And you had different goals then. But then when I got overweight and had to learn how to go the other direction, that was a lot harder. Yeah. And I think the big lesson and the aha moment for me there that really helped me, that my buddy Alex with Whiskey Weight Loss really taught me, was quit living and dying by the scale. The other way, I was so focused, it wasn't necessarily on an appearance thing, but just like putting on weight, that I lived and died by that. Yeah. But when you're losing it, that's a mind fuck, because fat doesn't weigh as much as muscle. So you could be dropping the good stuff, or you could be gaining the good stuff, dropping the bad stuff, and that's going to seesaw throughout that journey.
Yes, it will.
And man, you just have a little too much salt in your system or anything else, get a little water backed up, anything like that, and now you just think your whole week was ruined and all that work you did was for nothing. So learning to take measurements and living off of measurements instead of weight was a huge mental change for me.
Yes, I mean, that's a lot about what I preach.
Yeah.
I have clients that weigh on a regular basis, right?
Yeah.
But what I try to do, especially with this in-body, you can change that in-body in 60 seconds. You can change the in-body in an hour. All right, because it's hydrostatic. So as your hydration levels change, then you either get good or bad body fat percentage or muscle loss or weight loss. And so, for example, you can actually weigh in on that scale, go have a nice little Tex-Mex plate, and come back, and your numbers are completely different. And you was like, how did I gain 3% body fat? How did I lose this muscle and whatnot? But when it comes to, like you say, measurements, I don't like looking at the scale to a certain standpoint, looking at like a weight number. But on the scale, I will look at like hydration. I'll look at muscle mass. I'll look at body fat percentage. And then we can figure out what happened. I can tell you, hey, look, you probably had this last night. Right, so it's data, right, and so we use that data to help you get to where you need to be. Yeah.
Considering how many things you've overcome in your life.
What?
I mean, cancer and all these other things that there's a lot. I mean, I'm not going to get into like everything. I mean, because you and I know each other pretty well. But, what's maybe one thing you've learned that most people overlook when it comes to like mental toughness and your mental mindset?
One thing I've learned
that you think others overlook. And maybe that's something that's changed for you.
I will say this. This is probably the negative side of that, right? So one thing I have learned, or one thing I have experienced, is that when my mental capacity is at a strain, right? When I'm stressed out, if there's such a thing to me, but when I'm at a strain on things mentally, that has a direct correlation to how I feel and what happens to me physically. And that's what I hate, because you've heard the saying, stress kills, right? And it does. And so, being able to manage that stress, whether if it's mental or not, whatever aspect it comes from, that will have a physical impact on your body. So when it comes to that, you managing it or learning from it will give you upper hand in which, or at least it gives me an upper hand.
Yeah.
So I try not to worry. I do worry. You'll never see it. I do worry, but I'm not going to let it affect me to a certain point where it physically puts a bind on me to a certain degree. I let some things get to me, but I try to manage it very well. Yep.
You do a hell of a job, man. I will give you that. I don't know if that's something you learned from your family growing up or how you've had that mentality, but man, like I've seen you use it in so many different things, and you're right. Like, obviously there are times I can tell, but I know you pretty well. Like working out, like, all right, man, he's dying today. Like, this is not normal. Like, I'm used to you over here going, oh, when are you gonna step it up some more? You're still gonna keep lifting those little weights. When are you gonna put the pin a little lower? But Well, let's go to some fun, little bit lighter things. If you could race any car in the world, what car would it be and why?
Come on now. You going to ask me that question?
Yes.
You know the answer to that question.
I think I do, but I'm going to ask you. I know you're a car nut.
If I wanted to race a car, me specifically drive one, it would be a 71 Chevy Chevelle, which is what I'm working on right now. So, So, race is not that safe, but hey, I would love to put the pedal to the metal and see what I could do. Yeah, I love speed.
What if it was what if it had to be a supercar?
A supercar?
Yeah. What would you choose?
So, this is where I'm gonna get a lot of hack at.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a lot of kickback on this, so I apologize.
Because I know you lean to the classic stuff like I do, and you like the old school muscle.
I do love the old school muscle. Matter of fact, Hell, my truck's in the shop right now because of new school muscle. And it was all electronic what put it in the shop. So, yeah, I'm an old school person. If I had to actually, I don't even know.
Let's say you won the damn lottery and you were going to buy a supercar. Like, what supercar are you getting? What's Naz rolling in?
Naz doesn't know a lot of supercars, but if I had to choose one, hell, I don't even know what it looks like. I don't even know how much horsepower it could possibly have. The only reason I would actually buy it is because I like the song. Bugatti. So there's literally
All right, going Bugatti.
Yeah, well, exactly. I would go Bugatti. Yeah.
All right.
I woke up in my new Bugatti. That's it. But I have a saying for that, though. I wouldn't do a supercar because the amount of money I can spend on that supercar, I can probably build one that's just as badass for what I want to accomplish.
Yeah.
For that amount of money that I would have to spend to get that. So I can build like 20 Chevelles.
Yeah, or you'd be like, I'm going to go find some rare old GTO or something like that, and like I'm going to soup that up and just do something stupid to it.
There you go.
Yeah. I kind of figured that's where you were going to lean.
Old school.
What's maybe one of the funniest things you've like had happen training or in competition?
Training and competition.
Or competition.
Or training or competition.
Or maybe both. I don't know.
I mean, there's a lot to actually laugh at.
I mean, there's all kinds of crazy stuff that happens in a lifetime.
I mean, a lot of stuff that happen in a lifetime. A lot of stuff that happen in valleys actually could be pretty funny too. To me or to anything I've seen.
Man, I don't care. I was just trying to lighten it up a little bit and go something.
I'll tell you the funniest one.
I mean, I remember the one video I sent you of the guy that was like on the elliptical machine.
With the one leg?
Dude,
I haven't seen him in a while. But anyway, funniest thing that ever happened to me, I would say, I'm gonna take this back to competition. So, in 2012, when I did the Heart of Texas, I was backstage in the finals where they actually delivered the trophies at. Well, they were calling my name, and there's video actually of this online. You can actually go on my Facebook and look at the video. I had cut down to so low of a body fat percentage, and I had cut my water so low, my body was like, done, quit, I'm done. So I'm sitting in the back, and I'm actually sitting on the floor, and everything's cramping. Like, I wanted to move, but I could not move. And so it's probably a good 30, 45 seconds. The announcer called my name like multiple times, and then he was like, I guess he doesn't want his trophy and whatnot. Yeah, I want my trophy. I can't move. So literally, I could not walk. So, that was kind of funny to me. Not funny, but funny to me because I was trying my best to actually move, but I couldn't. My body was done, which I paid for.
What do you think is the funniest thing you've seen in the gym? Other than like Jonathan doing his little dance routines for TikTok.
Oh, funniest thing I see in the gym? Man, I've been there too long. Funniest thing I probably seen in the gym, not funny, but I've seen multiple people. You go online and you look for all these gym fails.
Yeah.
You never thought you'd be part of one of them, or you never thought you'd witness one.
Yeah.
But I've witnessed people fly off of treadmills, and at Lifetime, this was probably when I first started there, maybe 2 or 3 years after I started, I saw a guy trip on a treadmill. And, of course, he gets tilted back, but this guy was unstoppable. He actually held on to the front of the treadmill like he tried to grab himself and pull himself back up. It wasn't happening. But that tread was turning so fast, so you just saw him not calling the guy stupid, but he kept holding on to the treadmill while he's like flipping on his back. The tread just burning up skin on his lower back, and he did not let go. He finally let go. His shirt was all torn up. He was actually bloody on the arm and whatnot. I'm like, that's your fault. Sorry, but that's your fault. You should let go. Not funny, but Funny.
Not funny like him buying me a giant gummy worm, but we won't relive that.
Hey, you better look out. You might get a 15-pound gummy bear.
Oh, man. Damn. I can't do those. It's too much gummy.
You got it.
No.
Yeah, you share it.
And I'm definitely not doing any of that until after the 60-day challenge is over. Because I'm winning this damn thing.
Hey, let's go. We got 5 more weeks.
Yeah, we're going.
Yeah, you got 5 more weeks. Yeah. What you got on your list? Come on, show me. What you got? I see.
What? Well, we've answered some of this already, just naturally talking. So I don't know where I wanted to. Wasn't sure where I wanted to go next. But what's maybe a habit or routine that you think is crucial for people to develop to have success, no matter what their goal is? Like something that you think is like religious or like a staple for you.
Believe it or not, most people won't say this, but I'm going to say tracking. Tracking. Track your progress, right? Not necessarily, I mean, it actually doesn't have to be anything related to gym, but track your daily progress of what you do. I mean, it could be anything from fitness, steps, calories burned, steps climbed, but it also be in your life in general. Like, I don't journal much. I wish I did. I tried. I just get tired of writing because my hand gets tired. But if you can track your life or what happens to you or what you actually are feeling, then this sounds kind of crazy, but I tell my clients this. If you're tracking, you can see what worked and what didn't work. So if you have a day where you had great output, both physically, mentally, psychologically, go back to that day and reminisce. Read what happened to you, all right? So read what you tracked, and that could actually ignite you for days to come. Or it can also teach you a lesson on what to do or not to do. And so tracking, that's one thing I actually preach. Now, again, here I am sitting in this seat. I'm telling you that. I have to do better at it. I track. It's up here.
Well, the good thing is you got these fancy watches and stuff now that you can track a whole lot.
Those can be manipulated too.
That's
right?
true.
Yeah, so but when you write things down, it visibly becomes apparent to you. Especially if you write down with your own hand. You write down with your own hand. By tracking it that way, you see it. You have to think it and put it on paper, and so it becomes a reference for you. Right? You actually probably remember it even better now that you actually wrote it. And so if you have time to actually go back and, reminisce on those good days or even those bad days, what did you do wrong or what inhibited you that day, you can not do it again or learn from it. Yeah.
How important do you think that is for diet? You think that's just as equally as important? I mean, I do, definitely.
Again, the scale doesn't lie, but diet is actually I would say, one of the most important things. Now, weight training, yes, monitoring your strength as you go, writing down your maxes or what you accomplish will help set your plan going forward. But in nutrition, what happens when you're in this 60-day challenge and 1 week or 2 weeks goes by, you're tracking, and then this is the week or this is the span of time where you actually made great progress. Like all your meals were on point, you tracked everything, you didn't miss this sodium, all your electrolytes were on point, your fat was in point, everything was there. It worked perfectly for you, and you tracked it. And then later on down the line, you slip up. You lose that focus. Well, how do you get back on that gravy train, right? Can you just reset it in your mind? Some people can, but if you have a physical, written down note, memory reference that you can go back to, you're like, okay, this is what I did back then that actually worked for me. Let me get back to that. Now, sometimes that does work, right? That works, but the body's very complex. It could change in a second, but that was a moment where you did your best at. So why not return to that?
Yeah, I think at least for a while until you find those things that work for sure. That's keeping track of that stuff and tracking on that is huge because it gives you another measuring point.
Mm-hmm. Another measuring point. You can usually link it to what's happening on the scale.
I don't think I could do it though. Like as far as like if I was working on my own, I wouldn't like write down everything that I did and the weights and the reps and the sets. And I tried it for a while, but man, like that seemed like it got me out of the pace of my workout. I ended up resting for too long because I'm sitting there writing things down as I go, and then next thing you know, oh shit, I've already been a minute.
And so I tried it too. I when I worked out, I carried a little pad with me. I wrote down everything, and I like doing that because what happened is that during my sets, I'll write down the weights and reps, but I'll also write down a word. I'll write down a word that corresponds to how I felt that day or for that set or at that moment in time. And it could be a good word, could be a bad word, right? But I usually write it down, and sometimes I'll go back and look at what my progress, or I'll look at what I did, and I'll remember what happened that day and kind of either reflect on it, reminisce on it, figure out, if it's good, let's use it. If it's bad, what can we do to change it? And so, but yeah, I agree. It does take time. I try to write, especially me, I try to write pretty, so I'm like, writing in my notepad, making sure all my
There's nothing pretty about your writing, bro.
But
it's like a doctor writing a prescription over there.
What are you talking about? I got some. Well, we're not talking about my handwriting. We'll leave that alone.
I get made fun of about mine all the time, so I got you.
You guys have to tell this whole gummy thing because he's been hysterical.
Man, I know I've told this story on here before. I know I've told this. All right. So, if you don't know, I love gummy candies. Whether I don't give a shit if it's gummy worms, gummy bears, Sour Patch Kids, anything like that. And there's not many that I don't like. There's definitely a hierarchy to them, but there's not many I don't like. Being my good friend and also at this time workout partner, my birthday was coming up, and what does Naz decide to get me for my birthday? None other, and I am not posting this picture again. I'm not going through that with my wife. I'm sorry, not happening. This gummy worm is 2 flavors. It is cherry and grape.
Yep.
And it is this big around. We'll go like 8 inches in diameter, and it is 6 feet long.
70 pounds.
It weighs like 75 pounds. Like, I mean, the box this thing came in and like quota.
No,
it's just gummy, bro, and it's so thick. Like, no, it just came in a box in like a wrapper.
A wrapper, basically like a shrink wrap.
Yeah, so he gives me this gift, and he's like, before he gave it to me, he's like, okay, there's a catch with this gift. He's like, because I was supposed to give this to you like last week. I don't forget what happened. Like on my birthday, one of us, I think he was sick or something and we didn't get to connect for like a week. So he's like, I promised all the other trainers, and these are all people that we were both really cool with, that they would get to see you open this.
Yeah.
He's like, so I need you to at least take a picture and post something about it online. And I'm like, oh, I got you. And here I decide I think I'm going to be really funny. Well, I come up with this idea, and I tell my wife about it. And she's like, okay, the one thing I'm going to ask is do not put this on Facebook. Just, you can put it on Instagram. I don't give a shit. Not my whole family's not on Instagram, blah, 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 blah. So here it is. I forget that my Instagram, and this is before they were the same company, that they were linked. So I did only post it on my Instagram. I just forgot it was linked to my Facebook. So it went out everywhere. This picture got blown up and put all over my office. I mean, like, people were sending me gifts and memes with it and all kinds of stuff. But I thought it'd be funny, and I had this old American flag Speedo. So I threw that on, draped it over the gummy worm over my shoulders, had my old fishing hat. I was like, man, I'm just going to Jake the Snake this thing, and I'm going to do it. So that's what I sent him and sent out to the world.
Yeah, that was funny.
It was a great moment.
Yeah, that was a funny one. I don't know what I was doing. I think I was probably showing a client a picture or something like that. That was back when you send me the picture. And I opened it up and they're like, what the hell is that? I'm like, that's my client in a Speedo with a 70-pound gummy wearing across his chest.
Yep. So there's the story.
Yeah.
You now know the official gummy worm story.
We'll come up with something else.
Yeah, we're adding some better. That was about the only part where I was like, oh man, if I'm gonna do this competition, I'm gonna do this competition.
For real, yeah.
But if there wasn't so much on the line, I don't know if I'd have gone this far. But I did everything you said to make sure I had the best shots of winning. So we'll see. I might be saying that the American flag Speedo got unretired, but it's only going out there if I win.
There you go. We'll take it.
Otherwise, because I'm sure Lifetime's going to use those photos if you do win, and that'll...
They're like, who's this guy?
Man, I can't imagine the amount of heat I'm going to take on that one. But you know what? If I win that, I really don't give a shit.
There you go.
So we've talked about how your dieting has changed and the way you eat on a daily basis since, the changes you've had to make. Has anything from changing that for yourself impacted how you coach others on dieting? Is there things that maybe you didn't think would be as true to you?
Yeah.
And you're not doing it because you wanted to, you did it because you had to. Were there lessons in that have altered how you coach others on diet? Or do you still, it's obviously you weren't eating meat and all that stuff, and protein's a big part of a lot of this, so has that mentality switch changed any of the way you coach others, or do you just keep that totally separate? I know you and I haven't really talked about diet in a long time, but
it's a little bit of both, so I can speak to it through experience because I'm doing it.
Yeah.
But again, with cancer being an inflammatory disease, a lot of stuff that I actually do, or a lot of stuff that I actually eat, is for inflammatory reasons. And so again, when it comes to health, the less strain we can pull off your body. So I don't like using the word inflammation because it's a medical term. But the more inflammation we can pull off your body, the better chance we give your body a chance at accomplishing whatever goal we have. So I'll push more of the foods that I've experienced, like fruits and vegetables, certain types of fruits and vegetables. Again, I'm a big label reader to a certain extent point, and so I started doing that more for myself, but also for my clients too. I've said it for many years, but now I'm more like, hey, send me that food. I'm gonna show you what's bad in it. Or I'll show you what's good, possibly, if it's in there. But through what I've done and seeing the success that I got from from changing my nutrition, then I'm more on the fruits and vegetable sides when it comes. I can have better conversations. I would say that I can have better conversations about the fruits and vegetable side of it rather than get your protein in, right? Because that's all I cared about at first. Hey, protein builds muscle and burns fat. Do that first. Let's worry about vegetables later, right? But so I'm more tied into the overall pyramid, if you want to say, of nutrition. Now I can speak to it, to a certain extent. Yeah.
Is there anything else you would like that's changed for you as far as coaching others from that aspect?
Yes. I have my own belief on nutrition. Everybody.
Yeah.
I'm not a registered dietitian, of course. So, but I have my recommendation on nutrition as I've gained through experience.
Because I'm also, just for a point of reference here too, I'm also kind of what I'm thinking of when I ask you this question is I know I need to do this again at some point because maybe you can tell me the answer too of how often this changes.
Yeah.
But I know before you and I started working out together when we were training, when I first started training with you, I did the VO2 max and I
yeah.
did the food sensitivity deal.
Yeah.
And man, like the results of the food sensitivity were like, it was almost the equivalent of, and I don't mean this, like people are probably going to murder me for saying this, is your cancer diagnosis was in the regards that like you now couldn't eat like the majority of things that you absolutely loved.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. Like this food sensitivity test said I shouldn't be eating a lot of things that I really loved. And I was like, yeah, fuck this thing. There's no way. Like I'm not only eating egg yolks and no whites or whatever it said I was sensitive to and no blueberries. I'm like, what the hell is this? But yeah, I mean, it definitely affects those things.
Yeah, and so since you bring up food sensitivity tests and VO2 testing, going back to my contest in 2012, one reason I was able to get down to that body fat percentage, which is unheard of
and not recommended, really.
Not recommended.
Yeah.
Right? So I'll tell you a little short story that happened after that. But I used my VO2 and my food sensitivity test to actually make that happen. I took that food sensitivity test. I looked at everything that actually had some type of abnormality with my digestion.
I hit whey protein was one. I had to switch to the grass fed.
I took literally everything that had any marker on it. I took it out of my diet. And then with my VO2 test, I took the information from that and I specifically stayed in the heart rate zone where I knew I burned the most fat. That is literally how I actually got down. I did it to a T. So information from there, yeah, great. I mean, it can help. Of course, it did help. But funny story about getting down that low. There's a little cost I paid for that. Because after every bodybuilding show, when a person competes, or typically, this is what you would see, spectators that come to support you, family, friends, whatnot, they bring you treats of what you like the most. And so mine was brownies and Reese's peanut butter cups. And and so I had a ton of brownies. Matter of fact, my Reese's peanut butter quantity was the Sam's bulk package of Reese's peanut butter cups. I just broke that sucker open and just started eating it. And then I was eating brownies straight off the pan after this contest. I mean, like literally, I got my trophies.
Whole pan.
Good job. I started eating terrible exactly as soon as I come off that show. And I remember my post-contest meal was Red Robin, the hamburger joint. And so, yeah, Red Robin. We drove all the way to Garland to get me a burger. But when I got there, I couldn't even eat the damn burger because I had been so depleted of basically vitamins and nutrients and everything that when I went to go grab my burger, my hands were cramping. I just tore my burger to pieces and my hands stayed shut like that. So I literally had to grab a fork and eat my burger. And so I'm getting this burger down. But lo and behold, the bad thing about it, which I wish I would have did different, is that once after that contest, I started eating everything. Like Saturday night, I started eating everything. Remember, I went on stage at 2:02.
Yeah.
By Monday morning, I was already at 238. Yeah, I had depleted so much that my body was just pulling in everything I was eating. I got vascular and everything. I had veins everywhere. Just pulling. My body was like, ooh, carbs, glycogen, ooh, water, sugar, salt, and it was just pulling. I swelled back up. I looked good. But one night I was laying down and my back started hurting. Felt like somebody stabbed me in my side. I'm like, this is hurt. Let me take some Advil. Let me go to the restroom. This hurt. Oh, I'm feeling kind of nauseous. Well, I blew out my appendix.
Oh.
My appendix was like, I'm done. And so I had to have, from that contest, I lost a piece of me. My appendix was like, done. I can't handle this foolishness. And so, getting down to 1%, it looked great, but it cost me a pretty penny. But
That's wild, man. What's up, Don Brooks? We got more people tuning in, man.
What? Nice.
Mr. Popular over here.
Who? Huh? What? No.
I haven't even checked the YouTube. I probably should have popped over there. I bet there's quite a few over there. Well, all right. This is the fun part where we kind of bring this one to a closure.
What? Let's go.
But we like to give you this question at the end every time. So, if you got to leave Jackson with one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
One piece of advice? Oh man, come on! So much I want to pass on to this little dude.
Well, we're gonna have a nugget for him right here.
One piece of advice. I'm gonna say the same thing that actually means a lot to me. Don't change for anyone. Be yourself. All right? Be yourself, little man. No matter what that is. You know, it could be what you are now as far as being helpful, aggressively assertive, assisting people. But what I've seen in him these past years, and of course, most people are gonna boast about their kids, but I'm gonna really, I'm gonna boast about him. The dude is smart. He is very smart, and so just don't let anyone tell you different. Right? Just keep being you. Keep doing what's right in your eyes. Hopefully, it is the right thing, and if it's not, you learn from it. That's one thing that I think I would have. I wish I could have been better at. Like I'm myself, but sometimes I've known over the past years that I've kind of morphed into something else just to fit into a certain situation. But with him, everything I see in him, I see me, I see my wife, I see just all the characteristics that we carry on the positive side. I don't want him to lose that.
Yeah.
And so just be yourself, because we've instilled some good characteristics in you. Who knows, you might be the next NBA Michael Phelps. I don't know, but from a physical standpoint. But he also could be the next Einstein. He could be anything you want. So just be yourself. Follow that path. Just stay headstrong, man.
Hell yeah, that's great advice, man. All right, now's the really fun one. We just call this segment "Give Us Your 2 Cents."
Oh, hey.
So anything that maybe you wanted to go a little further on discussion-wise, or maybe there was a question that popped in your mind that you thought I would ask you that I didn't ask you, or it could just be Naz giving everybody his 2 cents. Yeah. It's up to you, bro. It's your time.
A little 2 cents. I mean, like I said, you didn't give me a script, so I was trying to figure out what would you ask me the whole time.
This means you should have been watching my show, bro.
I mean, I tune in every now and then.
I mean, I don't feel like you've tuned in since Jonathan, but you know.
I wanted to watch that heat. But yeah, no, man. If I didn't know what to expect when I came, so I didn't know what topics you actually were going to talk about. Of course, my health is a very sensitive topic. Yeah. Well, I mean, sensitive to some people. It is what it is, and I take it on a daily basis. But what I would like to actually say for the people who are tuned in, that know me personally or know me professionally as your trainer, or just know me period, or even for the people that don't know me at all, I would love to get to know you somehow. Hey, come do a training session with me. But I would just want to say thank you. Thank you for the support in all aspects. So I've with this disease. I hate calling it a disease, but with what's going on, just the amount of people who actually have come out to support me and my wife and my son from every aspect. You know, I'm not just. I mean, we've had people bring us food. We have people buy us food. We've had people financially support us. I've had people help my dream come true. When we talk about the Chevelle. Yeah. When we talk about the Chevelle, that's I mean, it's a whole nother story right now, but I actually have a title, right? And so I'm extremely thankful. I mean, extremely thankful for that. But just want to let everyone know that, you know, from me, my wife, my son, that we are extremely grateful for all the support that we've received.
Hell yeah, man. And you know, it's because everybody loves you guys, man. Like, dude, you've been that for so many people and changed so many people's lives. Dude, that's what it's about, man.
Yeah, it's amazing. And so this journey, I mean, it wouldn't be, how can I say, it wouldn't be as easy. I'm going to say it that way. It wouldn't be as easy. It's not easy, but I'm going to use that word. It wouldn't be as tolerable, I guess you can say that, without all of you guys. So, yeah, it's been a fun trip. Yeah. And you asked me if it was one thing, would say, so y'all, you know, we've been talking about like my connection with people and both friends, clients, coworkers, things like that. I had this, I've been saying this a lot during this podcast. I've been having these sayings. And I want to say this saying because this is actually how I live my life, and you see it. But the reason I am like I am, always happy, always positive, I'm always going to be positive, is because of my saying, right? I say to myself, or I will say to you, and people have heard this, I'm a very patient and tolerant individual, right? I'm going to wait for you. I'm going to help you. And even when you're not listening or you refuse to listen, I'm going to be tolerant. But this bad way, possibly not a great way to end the podcast, but I'm a very patient and tolerant person, but I become very impatient with intolerance. That's where the anger side of me comes out at. And I don't see it very often, all right? But, yeah, and so I just say that because that gives you an idea of who I really am. Because if you never see the bad side or the mean side of me, it's because you either follow the rules or you make me happy. So, yeah. But, yeah, that's it.
Well, man, I want to thank you for coming on here and doing this because I know the last thing you want to do is talk about yourself. That, like, you being about you and having the focus on you, man. Like, I know that's not your preferred thing, but, man, like, I truly am thankful that you decided to come on here, share your story, and, you know, let others learn from your journey, man.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Yeah, I text you. What did I say? I'm scared. I don't know what you're going to make me do.
Yeah, what did I tell you?
Yeah. You're like, you ain't going to be as scared as you are when you do my 4th or 5th set.
Yep.
But, yeah, it was a pleasure. Way better than what I expected. I will say that because I thought that I would slip up a little bit as far as verbiage or explaining myself, but to the point of just being quiet, uncomfortable.
If that happened, man, then I didn't do my job.
Yes, you didn't. You didn't do your job, but very great host, man. Thank you for making me comfortable, and thank you for allowing me to chat. Thank you for allowing me to go off your script and say some of the things that I did.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Anytime, man. I hope we get to do it again sometime soon. We'll maybe have you back on when I get on that podium here in a month and a half.
So maybe when you get back on that podium, I'll get you like a 50-pound.
No, man, I don't need any more gummy worms or gummy bears.
50-pound gummy worms.
That shit that big is not good, and it goes bad before any normal human being could possibly eat that shit.
We'll let the group eat it together.
Yeah. There you go. We'll sit and watch Jamal eat it.
No, we don't. We're not going to do that. No.
All right, you guys. I appreciate you guys all tuning in and being here with us this week. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. And we'll be back again next week with you guys. Peace.
Peace.